Another nigun. I just need to be able to put on the capo for it. Okay. And I don't think we've been joined by our Zoom community yet, so I can be a little less formal.
Not yet.
But we have been singing a beautiful nigun that comes to us from Ukraine. And we'll sing it a few times just to get it back into our memories and back into our mouths as we think of those who really need to perhaps hear our singing and our unity with them tonight. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, yai, nai, yai, nai, nai, nai. That's all you need to know. Let's try it again. Yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, yai, nai. Yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, nai, nai.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And so before we light our Shabbat candles and holiday candles this evening, I know some of us are going to be moving on from Passover food as we conclude services this evening. And some of us will keep another day of Passover and conclude Passover tomorrow evening. And so in spirit of still lingering with that holiday just a little bit longer, I just want to reflect for just a minute before we light our holiday and Shabbat candles. So one of the more often overlooked aspects of Passover is that, like Sukkot and Shavuot, it is one of our agricultural pilgrimage festivals. that during the times in the temple in Jerusalem, people just like you and me would cut and harvest the first sheaves of their barley crop. And they'd make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem and offer them as an offering in the temple. And we reflect on growth and renewal on this Chag HaAviv, another name of Passover, this spring holiday, with greens at our Seder table and eating eggs even to encounter the cycle of life. And as the time passes, when we sit down in celebration of this holiday. And it's a beautiful coincidence that today is Earth Day, a day where we celebrate the anniversary of the modern environmental movement, and a day which challenges us to consider what part we have in shaping a future that cares for and protects our Earth. And Passover and Earth Day guide us to making sure that we live out God's plan in the world. For God put us into the Garden of Eden to cultivate and guard it. And so I'm deeply grateful to our TBE Green Team that today is launching a climate action challenge. And this initiative on a community engagement platform developed as a partnership between Mass Energize and the Jewish Climate Action Network, supported by CJP, educates and enables our community to take action and visualize our collective impact in reducing our carbon footprint. Collectively, we will make an effort to improve the energy efficiency of our homes, compost food waste, greening our transportation, engaging in advocacy, and so much more. And so in today's e-blast from our community, you saw a link to our website, which you can follow to sign up for this challenge. You log on to our website and click a few links as an individual and a family to an online interface that gives you ideas of ways to protect the environment. And this program will track your progress as a little friendly competition against others. And you'll be able to sign up as part of a TBE cohort or as a part of our general community. And there are lots of instructions for how to participate, and the link is in the chat for those of you on Zoom. And there are many important and worthwhile actions that we can take to fight the effects of climate change that are listed on the Mass Energize website. And I hope that by Shavuot, in, 6 short weeks from now, we can collectively see the impact that we are making as a community and continue to be a leading community of change in this sacred space. In a midrash, we learn that when God created the first human beings, God led them around the Garden of Eden and said, "Look at my works. See how beautiful they are, how excellent. For your sake I created them. Take care not to spoil or to destroy my world, for if you do, there will be no one to repair it for you." I want to thank Cheryl Goodrich and Cindy Janauer for leading this initiative along with our Green Team. And to celebrate them and their sacred commitment to this work, I want to invite Cheryl and any members of our Green Team to light our Shabbat and holiday candles this evening here in person. And if you're on Zoom, I invite you to place those candles right in front of your screen so we can spotlight you for the rest of our community. And so, we're on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel yom tov v'shabbat b'yom tov.
So I invite us to turn to page 386 as we continue to welcome the sacredness of this day with the words of Kiddush, page 386.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'am, beromamanu mikol lashon, v'kidashtanu b'mitzvotav. Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu ba'ahava, Shabbatot limnucha umadim l'simcha, Chagim uzmanim l'sason, et yom hashabbat hazeh, v'et yom chag hamatzot hazeh, zman cheruteinu. Mikra kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kitashta, ve'kol ha'amim v'shabbat moedei kodshecha, b'ahava uvratzon, b'simcha uv'sason, yinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim.
Amen. Let's join together on page 130. L'chu neranana. Let us come in and join with our voices. There's a teaching that the angels of Shabbat come on in and join us whenever it's time for Shabbat to bring some extra comfort, some extra presence. In that same vein, there's another teaching that says that our voices, each and every voice that is here in this building, that's from afar, that's making blessings, all of them come and bring in Shabbat too. So let us this evening take a moment, just take a nice big deep breath as we enter Shabbat together to join with these sacred words. Nice and slow, so you can feel them in your heart and in your soul.
Lechu neranena. This motion means to fill the room with your voices. Nikad mafanav bitoda bizmiro. Gratitude and even more song. Lechu neranena l'Adonai Nikad mafanav
With all of the angels, with all of our voices, we join together and welcome in Shabbat on page 138 with the words of Lecha Dodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila lecha dodi, likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi, likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לאדוני, לקראת כלה Pnei Shabbat nekabela, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי, שיר דברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לפני שבת נקבלה, יא לילה, יא לילה, יא לילה,
Let us rise together and welcome the Shabbat bride facing our entrance, Ro'i v'Shalom.
רואי ושלום, אל תראה בעלה,
With the presence of Shabbat in our room, we turn to page 146 for our call to prayer.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
All together. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed
Let us return to our seats as we turn to page 152, as we invite God's oneness into our breath, into our space, with we join together in words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta baham, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam lehot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot ben enecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'yisharecha, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. We join together page 158 with these words of celebration, these words of freedom, these words of Mi Chamocha.
Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh Yanai nai yanai nai 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 yanai nai 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 yanai nai 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 yanai nai nai yanai nai 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 yanai nai 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 na 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh norat tehilot osef ele norat tehilot vele. Yalalai, yananai, yanai, 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 ונאמר כי פרע אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
As we walk through the sea, we can read on page 161, after we sing these words of let there be love, we read, Adonai, help us walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. With so much brokenness in our world, we certainly bring this sense of goodness, this deep love that we bring forth, and we sing it together. We join together.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkivenu Leshalom
Ve'ha'amidenu Shomreinu lechayim Ufros aleinu Sukat shlomecha
Hashkivenu
Hashkivenu
Adonai
Adonai
Eloheinu
Eloheinu
Hashkivenu
Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Once more, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
As we turn to page 164, we turn to Adonai Sfatai, this short, simple prayer that asks for one of the most challenging things, that we be able to pray truly and deeply from our heart. It is not always easy to do. And so we pray, God, open up our hearts, open up our mouths, that we may pray together. And one of the things that always helps me is to think of something that I am grateful for, something I am carrying in from my week. Those of you on Zoom, the chat is open for you to share your reflections. And here in the room, hold in your heart something that you are grateful for, something that opens up those channels to prayer as we rise together, page 164.
Adonai, Sevatai Tivta, Ufiagi Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sevatai Tivta. ויגיד תהילתך. Open up our lips so we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we can feel our pain. Open up our souls and let our love make us whole. And we will praise,
We will praise.
We will praise
your name, Adonai.
Adonai,
Sefatai Tiftach. Uviagid Hilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach. Uviagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ve'rofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem emunato lishenei afar Micha mocha ba'al gevurot Umidom elach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue with the prayers of our own hearts, or the prayers on the words of the page.
a melody from the Ukraine. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Lai, 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 lai. Ose shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Lai, lai, lai. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Ose shalom bimroma Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru
On the Shabbat, as comfort and shalom, peace, begin to settle over us, we pray for those in our lives whom we love, those whom we are thinking of who are in need of healing, whether it is a healing of body, a healing of mind, or a healing of spirit. We think now of all of those people on Zoom. You can put their names in the chat to lift them up. Here in the room, if you're thinking of someone and you'd like to rise, one of our clergy members will come and hear the name of the person you're thinking of so that we may hold their names, especially in our hearts, this Shabbat, as we wish for them prayers of strength, of comfort, of healing. Misha Berach is on page 371.
Sheberach avoteinu mekod habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekod habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Both to offer strength and comfort, we also celebrate the moments of joy in our lives. So I'm looking around the room to see if there are any birthdays that have happened in this past week. A moment for Shehechianu, a birthday in this past week. I'm also looking at Zoom to see if there's anybody who's celebrating a birthday in this week. I'm looking for your hands, looking in the room. How about any anniversary or birthday? Oh, Mazal Tov. Mazal Tov. Beautiful, a new baby girl. 28th anniversary, Mazal Tov to you. Amazing. Are there anniversaries in the room, anniversaries on Zoom? Looking around, beautiful. Okay, and we also have another special moment of celebration this Shabbat. So give me just a second. Here we go. Okay. This Erev Shabbat, as we are wrapping up our week of celebrating Passover, this holiday in which we tell the story of how we became a people, a story which begins with a radical act of love, with an adoption. It is therefore especially fitting then that this evening we get to formally welcome into the embrace of the Jewish people Micah Cole Rory Simons, the child of Sarah Simons, who grew up here at TBE, and the grandchild of our members, Holly and Steve Simons. So Micah and Sarah, I'm going to invite you to come on up to the lectern so that we may give Micah his Hebrew name and to offer him the blessings of our community. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, blessed is this one who comes in the name of the Eternal. V'rachnucha mibeit Adonai, we bless you here in this house of God. This absolutely beautiful little baby. Micah, are you ready, my friend? Are you ready for your naming? You ready? All right. I have a special blessing just for you. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, kayem et hayeled hazeh le'imo, ve'kareh shmo b'Yisrael, Moshe Reuven Magid ben Sivia. Zeh hakaton gadol yihya, kashem shenikanes lebrit, ken yikanes leTorah, lechuppah, ulema'asim tovim. Our God, God of our mothers and our fathers, sustained this child through his mother's loving care. Let him be known among our people Israel by the name Moshe Reuven Magid ben Sivia. That's your name. May this name be a source of joy to you and inspire you to serve our people and all humankind. May your mother rejoice in the growth of your body and soul as she has brought her son into the covenant. So may she, with wisdom and patience, lead you to a life filled with Torah, the blessings of learning and community, chuppah, a loving relationship worthy of God's blessing, and ma'asim tovim, the pursuit of good deeds. Together we can all say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And Sarah, I know you have a couple of words of blessing. Would you like me to hold Micah? That'd be easier. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Totally covered up here.
There you go.
All right.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the microphone. Someday you'll get there. You'll get there soon. Don't you worry.
Hi, sweet baby. So I just wanted to say a few things about your name. Your full English name is Micah Cole Rory Simons. And Rory is the name that your birth parents, Marissa and Rory, chose for you. So it's a reminder that there will always be room in your life for all of the people who love you. The names Micah and Cole are in memory of Marge Gravatt and Bob Colby, two mentors who had a tremendous impact on my life. I will do my best to make sure that you live up to their legacies of working to create a more just world. Your Hebrew name, as we just learned, is Moshe Reuven Magid. Magid, or Magid, is a family name from my mother's side of the family. And we've got some Magid zooming in from Australia right now. The name Moshe, or Moses, I learned is actually a verb, which refers to how Moses was brought out of the water. So it means to bring out of the water, and refers to how the baby was brought out of the water by Pharaoh's daughter. So together, Moshe Reuven means drawn out of the water, behold a son, and represents your adoption story and how you came to be part of this family and this community.
Beautiful, thank you. And so together as a community, we get to offer you our oldest blessing, our priestly blessing, and Cantor Zell's going to help us out.
Rabbi,
You ready?
I thought it's only befitting for a Moses
Yes.
to have a Torah in his hands.
Yes.
So Moses,
buddy.
little baby Moshe,
Moshe, what do you think?
before we offer you this blessing, can you take hold of the Torah? We know that its traditions, its teachings are safe in your arms. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you, and may God always be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you feel God's presence within you always. May you always know the blessing of shalom, of peace.
Shalom. Together we can say, Amen. And we include this beautiful blessing with all of the celebrations and these special milestone moments in our community with words of Shehechianu. Let's join together. Mazel Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh Amen. Amen.
Rabbi Harper, I wanted to ask, was that your first naming? Her second naming. Oh, it was beautiful. Yasher Koach. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I think it's happened to many of us at this time of year. At least I can say it has happened to me. I get nervous every time I make my Passover shopping list. Which grocery store should I try? Are they going to have enough Passover food? Stop and Shop, Wegmans, Market Basket, Roach Brothers. I have such great anticipation and nerves as I arrive at the store. Then to find that the whole selection is ransacked like an impending storm is coming. There is not one box of matzah to be found on the shelf until I spot one on the bottom shelf all the way in the back. Aside, I have to tell you that I will never forget the time I made this rookie mistake. When I got home and I had those prized possession of matzah boxes in my hand, held them up to read at the very top, not kosher for Passover. Right? What do you mean, not kosher for Passover? For crying out loud. Is there anything more kosher for Passover than plain old matzah. But yes, there is such a thing as strictly kosher for Passover matzah. And technically, well, traditionally, any other kind of matzah is as chametzdek as a bagel or a piece of pizza. And you can't just be in denial about it. Denial? It isn't just a river in Egypt. There are strict rules required when it comes to making matzah. Many of us know that matzah is made only of flour and of water that has not been fermented or risen. That is, it hasn't been given 18 minutes to do so. For just 1 second over 18 minutes may be enough time for the flour and the water to ferment and rise. But there's even more that goes into making matzah kosher for Passover, as prescribed by Jewish law dating back to the Talmud. The process requires specifically milled flour, certain mixing processes, and a team of supervising rabbis. According to Aaron Gross, who is the vice president of Streitz Matzah, the typical factory flour production uses water throughout the milling process to keep the dust down and to aid the machines. But for Passover, everything must be milled totally dry. For 1 drop of water can begin a fermentation process that would make the matzah not kosher for Passover. A rabbi oversees this milling process to make sure. And when the tanker with flour actually pulls up to the factory, another rabbi has to be there to watch as the seal is cut to make sure that no moisture is introduced into the process. And it only gets more complicated from there. At the factory, 6 more rabbis oversee different parts of the production line, from mixing to baking. And in between each mix, the bowls have to be cleaned, because if there is a speck of dough from the last process, that would make the whole thing not kosher for Passover as well. So workers repeat this cleaning process down the entire assembly line. And they also have to make sure that the matzah is cooked completely through. For matzah that is damp in the middle is also considered chametz. Temperature, too, can be a factor, for warmth can create fermentation. And then, after all of this, there's the spiritual aspect. For making matzah is a mitzvah. And anyone baking the matzah must not only be an observant Jew who keeps the laws of Shabbat, but also keeps in mind the intention of the mitzvah that is being fulfilled. So, you might have already asked, why such a strict process? Because just 1 drop of water will create the fermentation or the rising. Just 1 speck of chametz makes everything not kosher. Just 1 degree higher in temperature, just 1 added minute changes the entire process. In other words, the smallest particle, the smallest air bubble, the quickest second, the smallest action matters. Did you ever consider that the bread of affliction, the simplest form of food that we have, bland, flat, plain, would have such a powerful message to teach us? The smallest of our actions can make the biggest difference. Reflecting on the matzah is an exercise in awareness, stepping back to realize how much power each one of us has in every single word, action, or deed. But perhaps too, it is a lesson on humility and humanity. It sometimes only takes one small intentional action to make a difference. I am thinking about the times when I'd like to comfort someone or when I'm feeling compassion for someone and I don't know exactly what to do. In these moments, I need to remember that a simple text, a phone call, a written card, a hug, a smile could give them hope, energy, love, and strength. Often when we are paralyzed, when we sense someone is in need, we think, what could I possibly say? What if I say the wrong thing? But perhaps instead, we let go of our ego and we do the simplest thing that we can think of. Something along the lines of, I'm thinking of you. I see you. I hear you. That's it. Just this past week, we experienced this spirit with the Boston Marathon. It always amazes me how one person on the side of the road clapping their hands can have such an impact. It's so simple. All we do is show up. And I can't help but mention that when every single one of us does the simplest thing, just to be present, how big of an impact, let's call it a movement, is created. Our rabbis teach us, al achat kama v'kama. If one is true, all the more so if we multiply. I also think about our breath, how each breath we take carries vital and life-giving oxygen into our bodies. One simple, unconscious breath after another keeps us alive. But when it's intentional, al achat kama v'kama, it also has the ability to keep us calm and focused. So often we become overwhelmed with the multiple steps and the big processes that we perceive are needed to make a difference. Everything does not have to be, and I'm reminding myself, Rachel, everything does not have to be a big project. I think about the planning that goes into so much of what I do, even the hours it sometimes takes to prep a meal or to make challah. But our ancestors, in one of the biggest moments of their lives, the transformational journey of leaving Egypt, packed only flour and water in a bowl on their backs, as was written in the chapter of Exodus, chapter 12, that we read this week. And they prepared no other provisions for themselves. Just a few small actions make a difference for them. It was all they needed to do. So too do we find ourselves in the midst of a very big project, the counting of a full 7 weeks of the Omer. But we don't anticipate all 7 weeks at once. No, we count every single day, one by one, each day building on the next until we get to 49, 7 weeks of 7 days. In fact, every day we are not only to acknowledge the new day and add it to the one before, but we are to bless each day and start it with a simple intention, which begins with the simplest and most intentional word of all. We have it in our sanctuary right here. Hineni. Hineni muchan umzuman lekayem mitzvot aseh shel Sfirat HaOmer. Here I am prepared and ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. And so, Hinenu, here we all are on this final day, however you count it, of Chag HaMatzot, the holiday of the matzah, ready to heed its teaching of simplicity. May we continue to count every day of these 7 weeks of the Omer with intention, remembering the good and the power of our small deeds, our words, and our actions. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. So now I am going to invite you to rise, but not to ferment. Just kidding. I gotta stop it with the matzah jokes. So we're going to begin our counting with a melody.
A special setting that gets us ready. Hinenu, hineni muchanum zuman. I am preparing myself to get ready to say the blessing to then count the Omer. Leshem yichud, kudsha brichu ushchintei, hineni muchanu mezuman, lekayem mitzvat aseh, shel sfirat ha'omer, shel sfirat ha'omer, shel sfirat ha'omer, shel sfirat ha'omer, sheva Shabbatot, temimot tiyena, sheva Shabbatot, temimot tiyena, sheva Shabbatot, temimot tiyena, sheva Shabbatot, temimot tiyena, shel sfirat ha'omer, 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 shel sfirat ha'omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer.
Hayom Shiva Yamim Shehim Shavua Echad LaOmer. Today is 7 days, which is 1 week of the Omer. So before we continue, let me just say that we're going to continue to count every night as a community. If you follow on my individual Facebook page, you can count with us together and lend your comments of reflection. So let's continue.
You may be seated. We turn to page 598, and I want to invite those of you who are here on this Shabbat in observance of a yahrzeit, the death of an anniversary of a loved one, or are in a period of mourning, to please rise. And as we pass through our kahal this evening, our community, we can share the names of the loved ones that we're remembering at this time.
My brother-in-law, Larry Gertler. My father, Stuart Sindel.
We also think of those who in our community have died in the last 30 days: Michael Davis, John Cole, Stanley Snyder, Nancy Stone, and Harry Rich, who's not yet interred, the father of Debbie Argetta. And so I want to invite all of us to rise if we are able. In support of the mourners in our midst as we recite these sacred words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayed v'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom mimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Hu yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Hu yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
You may be seated. So I hope that you will stay after services this evening. We have Kumsitz with our student intern, Rabbi Lesner, who is going to sing and help us, well, we all sing together and join together in some teaching and song. Tomorrow morning, we will join together here in person and on Zoom at 10 o'clock for our festival morning services, which will include a Yizkor service. On Tuesday evening, we will observe Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day here at TBE. We have a special opportunity to gather with musicians in our community, Dana Sandler and Austin McMahon, and they are performing their production of I Never Saw Another Butterfly, a reinterpretation of that poetry through music. And so I hope that you will join us on that really important day, Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And also, I hope that you will check out the Climate Action Challenge that the Green Team has put together. It's a really extraordinary opportunity for us to engage with one another in cohorts and just check how we're acting in this world, in the climate space, in our homes and in our families and in our lives. And so I hope that you will join us. And if you're ready to move on from Matzah to Challah, Rabbi Harper is teaching a series of classes beginning this Thursday night, exploring all the different ways Challah and Torah braid together. Is that right? That was good, right? Okay, cool. All right. Let us join with a little matzah. How about that? So, and then we're going to transition right to Kumsitz. Okay. Let's rise. We're able.
Want to hold one up, Warren? Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lehem min haaretz.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Come on in for a kumsitz. Come on in. Come on in. Hello, hello. Me. Oh, look at that baby. Please and thank you. You can have one. I also need one. Shabbat Shalom. Come on down. Right now. You can leave them wherever you want. Thanks, Marty. Shabbat Shalom. Come on down. Come on down. You could. You might.
We don't bite
We don't
here
know
at
that.
Temple Beth Elohim.
Would you care for Mike?
Come on down.
That's for.
Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Well, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's good to see you all here. Really good to be here together. And these people, hello people on Zoom. You're up there and you're looking at me from over here, but I see you down here. I see you down here. Hello, Nephew Mason. Sweet pajamas. Looking good. He's wearing really good pajamas, I promise. We are here for a kumsitz. Literally just to come, to sit, to be, and to experience whatever needs to come up. We're going to do a little bit of song, a little bit of story, and just have some time to be able to be here together as Shabbat really comes in, as the sun begins to set, and we settle ourselves as well. I'm joined by Zach Gondelman, and my friend who you may not know, this is Julia. This is Julia Sabra, a Rav Chazan student at Hebrew College. Thanks for being here. So as you know, for anybody who has been here before, we take our time. We sing a nigun for an uncomfortably long time until you're like, okay, I'm sick of it, and then we're going to sing it 5 more times. And that's the point, to really just be able to accept whatever needs to be accepted, to be able to just be whoever and whatever we need to be. So let us begin this evening with this blessing intention for counting the Omer. Let's take a few collective deep breaths together. You all have a sheet in front of you on Zoom in the chat. If you'd like to sing along, the words can be found there. For the sake of the unification of the transcendent creative power, with divine presence dwelling here and now, I am here, and I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Counting this time from Passover all the way to Shavuot, from a time of exile to Torah, to truth, to where we needed to go. And as we sing, join our voices together. Let us imagine ourselves walking to Torah, to truth, to exactly where we need to be. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai 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 nai Wherever you are on the journey, I hope you find yourself safe. Let's add some words to our melody. Leshem Yehu Kuchabrichu Shchinte Hineni Muachanu Mezuman Lekayem Mitzvat Aseh Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Leshem Yehud Kuchabrichu Ushchinte Hineni Muachanu Mezuman Lekayem Mitzvat Aseh Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Shel Sfirat HaOmer Sheva Shabbatot Timimot Tiyena Sheva Shabbatot Timimot Tiyena Yai nai 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 Yai nai 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 Yai nai 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 Yai nai 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 Hashiveni ve'ashuva chadesh yamenu kekedem. Return me to myself and renew our days as of old. On the journey from redemption over to Torah to truth, you can imagine there were probably some bumps and bruises on the way. Some moments of confusion, maybe. Some moments of despair, of crying out. Maybe it would have been better off in Egypt. Maybe we'd be better off as slaves. As we make our way on our journey to whatever our freedom may be, may we be renewed in the ways that we are not perfect. May we be returned to ourselves. So this is a prayer just for that, to ask us to go back, to be restored, to be renewed. It goes like this. Yai nai nai yai nai. Yai nai 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 nai. You can try that with me. Yai nai nai yai nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Just sing that part. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. One last time. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 ya nai. Ya nai nai. Ya nai nai nai. Yai nai yai nai nai. Let's do that a bunch of times. Ya nai ya nai nai. Ya nai nai. Yai nai yai nai nai. We'll sing it until we get it. Ya nai ya nai nai. Ya nai nai. Yai nai yai nai nai. Ya nai ya nai nai. Ya nai. Yai nai yai nai nai. From the top. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai nai yai nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 ya nai ya nai nai. Ya nai. Yai nai yai nai nai. Ya nai ya nai nai. Ya nai. Yai nai yai nai nai. Let's add some words to our melody. And I invite you in this moment to not worry if you get it right. That's not the point. Whatever melody you need to sing, whatever words come right to you. Let's be renewed. Let's be restored. It goes like this. Ashiveni ve'ashuva. Ashiveni ve'ashuva. Chadesh, 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 Yemeinu kekedem. Chadesh, Chadesh, Yemeinu kekedem. Ashiveni, Ashiveni ve'ashuva. Ashiveni ve'ashuva. Chadesh, 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 Yameinu kekedem. Chadesh, Chadesh, Yameinu kekedem. Ashiveni Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemeinu, Kekedem. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemeinu, Kekedem. Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva, Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Kadesh, 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 Yemeinu, Kekedem. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemeinu, Kekedem. Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Oh, Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Kadesh, 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 Yemeinu, Kekedem. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemeinu, Kekedem. Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Kadesh, 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 Yemeinu, Kekedem. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemeinu, Kekedem. Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Hashiveni, Ve'ashuva. Kadesh, 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 Yemeinu, Kekedem. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yemeinu, Kekedem. So I don't know about you, but for me, hearing the calm and the quiet and the music and the sounds of this space, juxtaposed with the sounds that I don't know if you Zoom people can hear, but on the outside, there's some like laughter and some giggling and some joy and a little bit of ruckus. And I think that's sort of the point. So thank you all for being here. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to all of you on Zoom. Good to see your faces and good to see your names. Goodbye, Nephew Mason. See you later.